Hello everyone, welcome back to Cybertix and welcome to day 9 challenge of TryHackMe Advent of Cyber. Today's challenge is focused about the malware analysis, how we can review the source code of an application. So without wasting any time, let's get jump into our today's challenge. So let's start with our today's day 9 challenge where I will give you an scenario of the today's challenge. Having retrieved the deleted version of the malware that allows Tracy McGrady to control apps remotely, Forensic McBlooks and his team has started investigating to stop the mind control incident. They are now planning to take revenge by analyzing the C2's backend infrastructure based on the malware resource source code. Now, let's get directly jump to our what do we mean by .NET compiled binaries. So, .NET binaries are compiled files containing codes written in the different kind of languages like in the .NET framework such as C#, VB.NET, C++, etc. etc. These binaries are executable files which we call as a .exe files, or we can say it as a DLL, dynamic link libraries files. They can also be used in assemblies that contains multiple types of resources. So let's just understand what do we mean by a C2 primer over here. So let's get directly jump into the particular image where we can see it properly. Yeah. According to the forensic McClue, the retrieved malware sample is presumed to be related to the organization's remote mind control incident. So, to build the right mindset in solving this case, let's take a look at the run through about the malware with the C2 capabilities. C2, which we means as command and control, refers to a centralized system or an infrastructure that malicious actor can remotely manage and control compromised devices or a system. It serves as a channel through which attackers issues commands to compromised entities, enabling them to carry out various activities such as data theft, surveillance, or further malware propagations over here. Seeing the C2 traffic means that malware has already been executed into the victim machines. As details in the diagram, this particular diagram, in the terms of cyber kill chain attacks, the attacker has successfully crafted and delivered the malware to the target and potentially moves a lateral inside the network to achieve this. We can see this as a first where the user executes the malware. Now, how it has been done? So first attacker has connected to their C2 server and issues a command to be executed on the victim's machine. And then the malwares connect to that particular C2 servers and ask for the instruction. So when the particular victim's malware with they have payload over there and the C2 server has been connected, the C2 server responds with a set of instruction where the attacker has given. Now when it has been executed, the malware executes the instruction retrieved from the C2 server, and then malware reports back to the output and gets back to the attacker directly over here. So let's just directly jump into the our today's DNS spy. What do we mean by DNS spy? So let me just open it over here. So yeah, this is a DNS spy tool which we call. So now DNS spy is an open source .NET assembly debugger and editor. It is typically used for reverse engineering the .NET applications and analyzing their code, and is primarily designed for the examining and modifying .NET assemblies in a user-friendly, interactive way. It's also capable of modifying the retrieved source code, setting breakup points, or running through the code at one step. So, as we have started the particular machines, and let me just start, and this is the file which we have to perform a task over here. So let me just directly drag and drop over here so we can load that. And yeah, let me just perform a full screen. So this is the juicy tomato, and then this is the executable file which we have to analyze where the malware is about, and this is the main program, the code which they had implemented, which is developers. So there are many functions over here, that is the program functions, decryptions, encryptions, execute commands, jolt, implant, main, first, and slipper. So let's just understand one by one over here. So as we had completed over here, so directly getting into the jolt one. So let me open this and we will see this particular code over here. Based on the source code, the jolt function using a web request, as you can see over here, HTTP web request, where we had given a variable HTTP web request is equal to, and we are using a function uh, web request class from the system.net namespace and is initialized by the function URL argument. The name is already given a web request, which I had said earlier, is being used to initiate the HTTP request of the remote URL. So by default, the HTTP method is set to be based request. This means we can assume that the HTTP request made by this function is a get based request. Now getting into the post IT. Okay, so over here, like the gelt function, there is another post lt function which also uses the web based request over here, web request class. However, you might observe that it has been configured with more properties than the first one. The most notable, the method property, wherein the value is set to be the post based request, which is over here, HTTP method, which is post, and they are using a content type of application x URL forms URL encoded. Okay, and they are using a user agent of my Mozilla Firefox and the username which they had already used about it. So now coming to the another sleeper function. Okay, the sleeper functions only contain a single line, that is a thread.sleep function. The thread.sleep function accept the integer as its arguments and make the program pause, and based on the value it will pause on it. So now we are going to see about the execute command function. Okay, cool. Given the namespace of the class name system.diagnose.process of the initialized process class, it seems this function is being used to spawn a process according to its Microsoft documentation. From the initialization of the process start info, which is over here, process start info properties, we can also see the file execute to be the cmd.exe over here. So let me just get back to the main functions, otherwise it will take some many time. So execute commands, yeah, which we can see that a cmd.exe/c, it means that we are using a shell function over here. So now we can see over here encryptor, and okay, they are using a one particular array with 9 178 and many more things are over here. So the giveaway in this function is about the AES class used in the middle of the code block. If you hover the initialization of AES manage.aes over here, which is over here, okay, this is the function, and also shows the namespace system.security.cryptography, which somehow means that the everything has been related to cryptography and the encryptions. Okay, now decryption, which is obviously it is going to be decrypted over here. Okay, and then after we are going for the main function over here, this is the main part of the code. Now we have analyzed the other functions in the malware samples. We will return to the main function to complete the malware's execution pipeline. Again, the main function source code is a bit overwhelming since its code block contains over 60 lines of code. We can count it because we have a number over here. So let me just do, okay, it's a 70 line of codes. To make things simple, let's just try to split and understand this particular code. They are using an if else conditions. So yeah, so they had used an if-else conditions where the value was given as slip, shell, implant, and quit. So if the slip shell is a is equal to slip, then it will perform as slip particular functions, and similarly with the shell, implant, and quit. If the flag is true, then only, right? So let's just directly jump into our questions. What HTTP user agent was used by the malware for its connection request to the C2 server? So we had seen the user agent also in the post IT, I guess, or else gelt one. Let me, yeah, in the gelt part we had seen this particular user agent. So let me just copy it and paste it over here. Submit. Yes, it was correct. What is the HTTP method used to submit the command execution output? Obviously, we can't use the get based request because get is just to perform the information, get that particular request from the server. And if we are submitting some kind of commands to the server, it will be obviously in a post based request. So let me just type it over here, post. What the key is being used for the malware to encrypt and decrypt the C2 data. So let me just go to the encryption and see. Okay, over here they had written encode.sky.get_bytes. You can see a particular text. You can hack this super secure two keys, right? So let me just copy it, paste. Yeah. What is the first HTTP URL used by the Marvel function? Okay, over here we can see that they had used a 𝑚𝙃 secret.2.𝑚, and then we are using a /reg function. Okay, not reg, it's an endpoint over here. So let me just copy it, the first part, paste /reg and submit. Okay, and then how many seconds is a hard coded value in the sleep functions? So if you see over here, it will be obviously a 15 seconds, because 15,000 it will be in the 15 seconds. What is a C2 command server attacker used via the command.exe? The command.exe which we had seen over here. Let me just open it. Yeah, it will be in the shell mode. So the answer is shell. What is the domain used by the malware downloading the under binary files over here? So if the domain has been implanted, it will be over here. That is stash.mcgreedy.thm. Let me just copy it and paste it, submit, and we can see that we had got many more information about the malware analysis, how they had implanted that particular code, and what their shells are they using that to run the command.exe in the C2 servers. So I hope you understand how to review the source code and analyze the malware. And we have also come to know that what do we mean by C2 server. If you got some good knowledge from my videos, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing videos like this. I'll see you in the next challenge. Till that time, goodbye and Jai Hind.